Yo, what is up guys, Jack Gardiner here. I hope you enjoyed that little improvisation at the beginning there. That is one of the solos as part of my brand new masterclass, the Improvisation Roadmap Part 3. It's over 2 hours worth of video lessons where I deep dive into all the concepts behind that solo, but I also give you tons of phrases, exercise, licks, and ways to think about exploring some of these topics. Of course, there are a few other solos there, backing tracks. We also have everything transcribed fully in both PDF and Guitar Pro format. So if you do want to check out that masterclass, I'll leave links down below. But today I wanted to just chat to you guys, to have a bit of a catch up. I know I haven't posted as regularly here as I have in, say, the previous year. This year has been absolutely nuts. More on that in a second. But I also wanted to talk to you guys about a bit of a controversy that's gone on within the guitar world this weekend after Danny Sapko's video talking about what Giacomo Turra had done. And to be honest, I didn't really want to comment publicly about this, but I've had so many messages and calls over the past few days, I thought maybe it's wise for me to share my side of the story and how it made me feel. So if you want to skip ahead, of course you can go straight to that section, but first I just want to have a bit of a catch up and tell you maybe why I haven't been posting as regularly here. This past year has been absolutely nuts. It's probably the busiest year of my life in terms of travel. I've been traveling for gigs, masterclasses, clinics, guitar festivals, but also to shoot a number of music videos. And that brings me on to the second point, which is that I am currently working on a brand new solo album that's due to start its kind of release cycle towards the end of May, maybe early June with singles, and that's been taking up so much time in the background. I have still been trying to upload like lessons to YouTube, masterclasses and stuff like that, but honestly, I haven't had as much time because of the focus on this album. Now, in terms of what's going on with the release, most of these tracks are featuring some of my favorite musicians on the planet. Honestly, people that I never thought would ever want to play on one of my tracks. They're huge inspirations for me, and I really can't wait to share it with you all. Owain is taking control of the mixing and mastering and some of the production work on this one. He's probably sick to death of me right now with all the files that we have to send between each other and all the collaborators and whatnot. But I love you, man, and thank you so much. As always, you're my brother from another mother. But also, the logistics have been really difficult, especially because I've been self-funding this. Believe me, it's cost a small fortune already. Basically, anything that I've been getting paid via masterclasses or clinics or any of the lessons which I sell just seems to be going straight back into the payments regarding like recordings, booking studios for some of the collaborators, getting to travel across the globe to play in the same room as the same people so that we can video it. It's all adding up, and now I'm not going to do a crowdfunding thing or anything like that for this album. But I would say if you do want to support me, then the best way you can do that is by checking out my lessons. And if you don't have the means to do that, I totally understand. One thing that you can do to really help would just be to click a like, subscribe, and that little bell notification so that when these singles start releasing, you'll be able to see it straight away. Now, I want to talk about really what's gone on, because a lot of you will have probably missed tons of things that I've been up to if you aren't following me on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram somewhere up here for you. But essentially, that covers a lot of the behind the scenes, all of my stories that I post or pictures that I post. YouTube doesn't really have the medium for that, so I'd highly suggest you go and follow over there. Maybe you'll be able to work out who some of these musicians are on some of these tracks. But if we go back to November, one of the highlights of my whole playing career was getting to play finally with my favorite band in the world. Probably my biggest inspiration since I was 16. That is the band Dirty Loops. And I just want to say a massive thank you to Henrik, Aaron, Jonah and Christian and Josep for just making me feel so welcome. Not only was it massively inspiring to play with those guys, but the hangs as well afterwards. I mean, they just made me feel so comfortable, and they are top-notch dudes. We had a ton of fun together, and I can't wait to see if we can hang again and play again in the future. Maybe that would be super cool. But fast forward to December, I shot 2 music videos in Liverpool with James Sanger and Ella Garner, featuring 2 of my Italian brothers, 2 of my favourite musicians on the planet. James and Ella are incredible videographers as well, and a massive shout out to them. We actually filmed another music video when we were at NAMM with another legend, someone who I look up to massively. That was a nice 6 a.m. start. Trying to message one of your heroes saying, do you mind meeting me at 6 a.m. was pretty difficult, but he's such a cool guy. It was like it didn't bother him whatsoever. I'm really excited for you guys to see that one. I've seen the first edit of that video and it just looks incredible. Like, even if you don't like the music, I'm sure the visuals make up for it. January, straight after NAMM show, I was with my Neural DSP family. Those of you who are aware of my playing and know this channel know that I've been working for Neural for quite a while now, or we've been working in collaboration, I should say. The QC, the Nano Cortex, and all of the plugins are kind of at the epicenter of everything that I do. I don't know what I would do without the QC, really. It's my studio, it's my live rig, it's everything. But we had so much fun going to Sweetwater in Indiana, and we were at Chicago Music Exchange doing clinic type things where we were showing some of the workers there the capabilities of the Quad Cortex. That was tons of fun. Massive shout out to Dan, Max, Josh, Ryan, and Stockdale. We always have a blast together, and in particular, sending all love to Ryan Morgan. Man, I hope your recovery is going well. I can't wait until you're back to 100% so that we can hang out again and just chat rubbish about guitars and generally have fun. But that was super cool. From there, I flew straight to Nashville to record yet another music video, this time with a collaborator that I can name, because it's not really spoiling much, and we're doing tons of things, I think, together in the future. She is probably my favourite cellist in the world at the moment. Her name is Mariko Muranaka from Japan. She plays cello for Hans Zimmer, but she also has tons of amazing solo music. You know, we got into the room, never met each other before, and we just started jamming acoustically. I had goosebumps the whole time. Her phrasing, her vibrato, her improvisation skills. It's just a whole other level. Honestly, it made me feel like a complete beginner playing next to Mariko, but in the best way possible. It was so inspiring. We've decided to do more together. I can't wait for you guys to hear that track in particular. It's very intimate. It's just cello and guitar. Really, really fun. But that will be coming very soon too. From there, what else have I been up to? I was at the Poland Guitar Festival. It was the first of its kind. I did a masterclass and a performance over there. I just want to shout out Adrian and Stephanie and Marcin for just all of the organisation. The masterclass itself was super fun. Thank you so much to all of you that attended that and the performance. The whole vibes of that festival were just top notch. It was like a mini NAMM show, and considering it was the first time as well, massive congratulations. I hope we can do it again next year. It'd be fun to see even more of you guys there. Poland's always a blast. It's always a real good hang. From there, came straight back here, and we had 2 of my favourite artists come here to do some videos with Neural DSP. I won't give away too much, but if you've seen anything on Instagram, you can probably hedge a bet on who that is. It was loads of fun, and that is coming very, very soon, in the words of Neural DSP. But no, I do literally mean really, really soon. From there, I guess I've just been working on the tracks in the background. It's been a ton of fun, but it's a lot of work. I'm due to fly to Japan in May, at the end of May, to film 2 more music videos, and there's a few other trips around the world that I need to do to get some of the last music videos done. My whole plan is to give you as many music videos as possible with this release, and for as much of the songs as possible, so that you've got like a visual representation as well as the song itself, you know. The other thing I want to point out, future things coming up, I am playing at Bologna Guitar Festival with my brother Ricardo Oliver. It's going to be tons of fun. We're doing a performance, I think it's like 30 minutes each day, and we're going to be hanging around on the stand at the Ibanez booth. So if you guys are around for that, if you're in Italy, definitely check it out. And then of course there is MFA Guitar Camp, possibly my favourite masterclass camp I've ever done. I've done it for 2 years in a row now. This will be my 3rd time. We've got guest teachers such as Josh Meader, I mean, one of my favourites. Tom Quayle. No words need to be said. Martin Miller, likewise, and Marcos Foley. Huge inspirations for me, but also amazing teachers. It's just such a fun 4-day event as well. There'll be more information about that I'll post separately. But if you're around Italy in July, it would be amazing to see some of you guys there. Anyway, on to then the topic which I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about, and this is the whole controversy surrounding Giacomo Turra. I've probably butchered the name, but Danny Sapko did a really incredible video, and I thought it was really brave actually to do at the weekend. I had no idea that he was making it, but I watched it through and was honestly just kind of shocked. Initially, I thought it just affected me and a few other friends that I'd talked to personally, Alex Hutchins being one of these guys. Now, Alex did an amazing video the other day, and he summed up my thoughts and feelings probably better than I ever could. Alex is a hero of mine, both in terms of his guitar playing, but also as a human being. I think he just is a true gentleman. And the way in which he spoke about this was really, really, I thought, eye-opening, but also really cool on his part. It showed his character really well. I was umming and ahhing about talking about this publicly because personally, I'm rather concerned about Giacomo's mental health and his own well-being. You know, I've seen a lot of comments that are very angry, maybe rightfully so, but I don't really want to pile any more hate onto him. I think it's best to just leave that situation now. The damage is kind of done. But I do want to give you my side of the story so that you guys know what went on from my perspective and how it made me feel. We have to go back to 2020. Basically, I was tagged in a number of comments back then. Bear in mind, I had a much smaller audience than I do now, both on Instagram and YouTube. I was trying to get back into the online world. You know, I'd lost all my gigs and all that kind of stuff, and was really trying to build more of a profile. So when I saw these comments tagging me saying, "This sounds like Jack Gardiner," I was like, oh, what's going on? Every time I click on the comment, though, it was deleted, or maybe Instagram had hidden it. I'm not saying that Giacomo was deleting those comments. We don't know, and I don't really care. But the video itself was a version of Never Too Much, kind of guitar arrangement, and then a solo over the top. And as I'm listening to the video, I was like, oh, it does sound weirdly familiar, but I couldn't put it down to where. So I went back through my own YouTube channel and found a video from 2013, back when I was like 20, still in university. I'd uploaded me playing over Never Too Much. I'd made my own like arrangement and backing track and stuff, and it was me doing 2 different improvised solos over this track. Lo and behold, solo number 2 was note for note the same as Giacomo's solo that he'd posted. And what's weird was that he hadn't credited me at all. He'd not even put like the inspired by. There was just no mention of my name. So initially I was kind of like, I don't know, a little bit upset. It's a weird feeling when your video has only got a couple of 100 views or maybe 1,000 views, which I'm super grateful for. But then to see someone take your exact solo, note for note, and to have like 300,000 views with comments saying, I'm so inspired by this, you know, like I've had this on loop. It's a little bit painful, I would say, because that feels like it's a part of you, especially when you've improvised that and you've used that more as a way of just documenting where your playing is, you know, to learn from. To see that he had done a version where obviously it was massively edited and mimed as well, it's just a little bit painful. But initially I thought maybe I'll just message him and say, man, look, do you mind just crediting me or something like that? Like, it would be really appreciated. Until I found something a little bit more sinister, and that was the fact that Giacomo was selling the transcriptions of that solo and a backing track alongside a number of other artists' work over on his website. So at that point, I was pretty angry, and I did threaten legal action in a message towards him. And fair dues to him, he got back to me straight away and was like, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. I'll leave it at that. And he offered to pay the money that I was owed, essentially straight away. But I decided to myself, I was thinking, maybe he's just made a mistake. You know, he's young. We were all young back then, but he was slightly younger than me. I thought, you know what, man, don't pay me any of this, but just make sure in the future that you credit people properly and that you definitely don't sell transcriptions of other people's work unless you've got some kind of mad permission. I thought, leave her at that. Lo and behold, a couple of weeks later, one of the paid Instagram share pages, I believe Coffee Music, shared his video, and it got like 300,000 views within 24 hours. Again, no tag, no credit. And I called them out on this. I like commented on it saying, what, this is my work? Like, what's going on? It's happened again. And I was met with comments by his following, basically saying that I should cut my hair and sort out my image if I want to have any hope of having any of these views. And one that was quite funny but painful was like, you know, you're lucky that we can hear this solo. If it wasn't for Giacomo, this solo would only have ever been heard from your bedroom. You should be thankful of Giacomo. And that one, it was quite funny. Like, I could see the funny side of it, but it did hurt, especially when we were in the middle of a pandemic and we're all struggling to make a living. So at this point, I think I'd shared it on my Facebook and a few people started talking about it. I reached out to my good friend Levi Clay. Levi is an amazing transcriber. He transcribes all of my stuff, but he also tends to stick up for the little people in the music scene. So I was just asking him for advice. I was like, what should I do here? And Levi was like, let me reach out to him myself. You know, Levi, at this point 5 years ago, was making a lot of rage time videos where he was calling out things. But he genuinely wanted to help Giacomo. He spoke to him and he was like, man, what you've done is not cool, but here's what you can do in the future to make things better. He was saying, I'm not going to make a video on this. I don't want to call you out. I just want to help. You know, if you want to be kind of having a career like the guys who you've copied, he was like, the best thing to do is not the way which you've done it. You know, do your own thing. Don't sell transcriptions of other people's stuff. Just try and be honest and clear with your playing too. And it seemed all cool. You know, we thought he's genuinely made a mistake. We're all young. Let's move on from it. And that, I thought, was the end of it. I'd heard murmurs from other musician friends of mine that he'd done a similar thing to them over the past few years, but seeing the video that was released on Saturday or Friday, I believe it was, I was just absolutely shocked. My phone blew up, tons of messages, comments, calls saying, what on earth is going on? And honestly, I was horrified, mainly for the smaller creators on there, you know, people who had very little views. I've been there and sometimes I'm still there. Sometimes my videos don't get very many views at all, especially on YouTube, probably because I don't make clickbaity thumbnails or titles. But yeah, that I could feel the pain. There was one comment in particular that really stood out to me from a guy that had had his work stolen or plagiarized by Giacomo. And he was saying after his track was taken, he actually stopped posting videos for about a year because he felt so depressed about the whole situation. And he felt like there was no point in doing anything if his stuff was going to be stolen and he was just going to be ignored, blocked or deleted or whatever by Giacomo. And that's where the real pain kicked in. I mean, I saw there was a full song that was plagiarized. That to me is insanity that you can do that. But it kind of got me thinking about the whole situation. I saw Giacomo had tried to make an apology video where he didn't really apologize, and there were a few facts that weren't really true that he was trying to state. It felt like he was justifying things more than he was apologizing for things. And I don't want to throw more hate on the guy at all. Giacomo, if you're listening to this, all I would say is, man, you know, in the future with your guitar playing, just try and show who you are as a player. You know, don't give it up in any way or anything like that. We all love music and we all love guitars, but next time maybe just do better, man. Like, I don't wish any harm or ill will against you. I just think this is a lesson to be learned from, both in life and in music, really. But one thing which I wanted to point out that I don't think is being spoken enough about, really, is it's a conversation that's hard to have publicly for the fear of being labeled as like a hater or jealous or any of these kind of things. And that is the fact that a lot of these videos that Giacomo was producing were heavily edited and mimed too, which I have no problem with. Like, my thoughts on that have definitely changed in the past 5 years. If you want to make music in that way, that's totally cool. But my advice is you need to be able to back it up when it comes to playing live. And you need to be honest about it when people ask you, is this edited? Definitely don't sell lessons teaching people how to play like this, knowing that it's just never physically possible on a guitar to make the instrument sound like that. It's a tough topic in a conversation, but I just felt really weird. There was one comment in particular that stood out to me, which said, you know, they checked out my version and Alex Hutchins' versions and Tom Quayle's versions of these solos that Giacomo plagiarized. The comment said, I've checked out those players, but in my opinion, Giacomo is a far more well-rounded player. His phrasing is better and his feel is better and his touch is better. All of these different things. And I was thinking, what? Like, he's literally played our solos note for note and has had to edit it all in order to do that, to make it sound like those original solos and mime. It brings up a very important point, and I think that is, please listen with your ears and not your eyes. Especially if you're a younger player now, I know the temptation is there to just edit everything to stand out, and there's no issue with that. But just bear in mind that you need to be able to back it up when it comes to the live stuff. We've all saw the videos of Giacomo playing live, and not to like slam someone for their playing or anything like that, but it's a different level than what's presented, and I think you just need to be careful of that moving forward. You know, there were certain videos where it said this is a live sound check and the audio was completely doctored. That to me is lying to your fans. They're expecting you to sound like that when you play live. Just maybe don't do that in the future. Last point I want to make, and I'm sorry this has been a very long one, it was not scripted at all, these are just my 2 cents on this subject, but it's that we should probably support all of these smaller creatives that have been affected, and smaller creators in general. Like, lots of these guys have Patreons and things like that that they are trying to make a living from. We're all struggling to make livings from this in music at the moment. It's a tough market. I'm not saying you go and have to sign up to their Patreons or anything like that, but just leave them a like or a comment or subscribe if you do genuinely enjoy their playing. It means the world to us guitar players, musicians in general, that are struggling to stand out in this music world, especially when things now are more about like clickbaity things, or it's really hard to get attention. It brings me back to that point of, please listen with your ears and not your eyes if you can, to make judgment on whether you like something or not. Anyway, guys, I know that was a really long one. If you do want to support me and help me out with the album costs, then I'll leave links down below to my lessons and stuff like that. But if you don't have the means to do that, by all means, I understand, and I'm not expecting it. I would just ask for a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Maybe hit that bell notification if you can. My name is Jack Gardiner. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to sharing all of this new music with you very, very soon. Till next time, cheers.